Previously on Fantastic Comics Presents.
So he's using these pods that are alien and we don't understand them, but he's using familiar racing movie tropes so that you can get in there. So I don't know. I never had a problem following the pod race. I didn't think it was all that.
Do you like?
I'm not trying to
stuff?
suggest it was hard to follow. I'm just saying what I'm seeing on screen isn't really relaying the information fully. Like it's unnecessary. It's superfluous. Is a lot of it. A lot of the Phantom Menace was superfluous. They had quick scene change that I don't know, man. That was a funky movie. And if he is taking classic movies and he is placing them in them, isn't this just a collage? And is collage art?
It's not a collage. Is you take existing pieces of paintings and put them together. He's painting something that's in the spirit of another painting or that's similar to, but it's not the same. It's just like the movie 2187 that he always talks about. That actually is shots from other movies cut together into a new movie.
That's cool.
Whereas he's doing shots that are inspired by other movies, but he's not just actually taking a shot from Grand Prix and cutting it into Star Wars,
I was thinking though, like after talking to Rick Worley, who obviously, so like let's talk about Rick Worley and his work really quickly, because I'm gonna go back and watch those movies, I admit. However, I don't think that just because George Lucas had a vision for those movies that he makes good movies.
Right.
Like I think there are people who know a language but they still can't speak it. Because like it doesn't matter how many homages I throw into a story or a novel. If it's poorly written, it's poorly written and nobody's going to like it. Right. And then people can defend it and say, but it's genius. It's got this, it's got that. Yeah, it does. But it's still not compelling. Like I've never been curious enough to look into anything that George Lucas was doing. Right.
Right. Well, the thing about George Lucas is that he states it way early in his career what he likes and what he liked about film. Yeah. And what he liked about film is not deep dialogue.
Right.
He likes emotion and color and
sound.
And sound.
Yeah.
And when you
and so he should have been really careful to let somebody else write his dialogue.
No, because it doesn't matter. Rick said that George Lucas says he likes the French version better or the Chinese version better. He doesn't know those languages.
So don't put dialogue in. His dialogue is garbage. His dialogue's bad. Mm-hmm. It's really bad.
All right. So what about bebop? What about blah blah, whatever that's called, scatting. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
that's nonsensical.
I don't like it.
Art form.
I don't care if it's an art form. I don't like it.
Think about how people didn't like dance of a certain type, like the jitterbug. That's not dancing. That's not dancing. And I mean, this is still a movie for sure.
Yeah.
Whether or not we elevate it to film status is a different thing.
Okay, so one of the things
how many elements need to be there to be good?
It's completely subjective, right? Mm-hmm. It's completely subjective, but that's a problem with art in general. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will not dispute that he made something with vision. Mm-hmm. Okay, but I didn't enjoy his vision.
Yeah,
even though it's science fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you
opera.
I will give you an example. There is a where in some cases I think homage gets in the way of actual storytelling. Okay, because like to me, a story should be told, and it should be clearly told, and there shouldn't be any speed bumps along the way that make me go, "That is dumb," or "That doesn't make sense," or "What the fuck just happened? I'm confused." Right? As little as possible with the confusion, because sometimes it's compelling, and you're like, "Wait a minute, I need to think about that." However, my example, there's a scene in one of those three movies where somebody tries to assassinate Amidala. Okay. And it's an assassin that's using like a high-powered rifle, okay? And they're standing on a ledge, like right over here, and they're shooting into the window or something. Like somebody drills a little hole through the glass so they can shoot through the bulletproof glass, and then they shoot a laser beam, and the Jedis disrupt it, right? That's probably an homage to some previous movie, okay, that I am not aware of, and I don't care, because in that high technology society, nobody would try to assassinate people that way. It doesn't make any sense to be that close to your target. It doesn't make any sense to be visible to people who are trying to protect her, who then chase you down and kill you. That none of that makes any sense, right? That's a dumb thing to do. It's like suicide for an assassin. Not only that, they wouldn't miss. With that much technology, they wouldn't fucking miss. They would get it right. They would do it. I mean, it's an homage, and it's a failure, in my opinion.
Well, I didn't actually get a chance to say it, but all right, so let's just say everything is the greatest moment from every single movie put into this one movie.
Yeah.
Let's just say that theoretically it should work.
No.
But then you have Gungans who have floppy ears living underwater.
Yeah. Pretty
You wouldn't
streamlined.
If you were, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a fin, so it's not guiding them. It's just dragging them down
Yeah.
So this is where he's taking this underwater scene that's from the greatest movie ever. And I'm very, very thrilled with this concept. And then something that doesn't belong, typical George Lucas, is in this movie all of a sudden. And it's the Gungan underwater. It's like, oh, this high-powered thing. Oh, you're nitpicking. Well, you're nitpicking, but even still, I'm accepting the fact that you're taking this great piece of art and you're instilling it here. It doesn't belong.
I agree with you. I think from an evolutionary standpoint, those long floppy ears would have been able to be grabbed by predators. So selection would have selected away from floppy ears. Right.
And George Lucas has always had a problem with geology and biology and all that stuff.
Maybe George Lucas actually doesn't know how to tell a story, and that's why he relies so heavily on homage.
Right.
Right. He looks at these other things. And he says, that was amazing. That was amazing. That was, let's shove them together. But that's not how stories are made.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, again, he's making a movie.
Everything in his movie is a fucking homage. Everything.
I don't know, but I really like the 50s movie, American Graffiti. I really like American Graffiti.
I don't remember it, but at the same time, you know, he was really young and he probably wasn't set. He wasn't set in his ways yet. Maybe. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
No, me either.
As much as he has very good arguments for George Lucas having a vision and for pursuing his vision, and like, you know, great. Yeah, I totally agree, but it doesn't mean he makes a good movie.
Yeah, and quite often it is very boring.
And yeah, it really is.
Or long.
And the stuff that George Lucas seems to really admire is all stuff I do not want to watch. You know,
or I will watch Ben-Hur. Thank you. I'll watch Ben-Hur now. You know, that type of thing.
Right, but like all the experimental films. Like, that stuff is hard to stomach, dude. It's
I can't
just
remember
hard.
Who's the guy that does the circles, you know?
Circles?
There's, like orange dots and different shades. You know, when you go to school, you learn about that type of thing. Obviously,
Miro?
I can't remember who it is. It really isn't that big a deal. It's just the concept that, wow, this guy's famous for drawing orange circles.
Yeah. Well,
you know,
it's
like, whoa, how visionary.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't understand. It's the way the light and this and that. And yeah, in a Star Wars movie, I might not have realized that he's playing me that way, and that is very artistic. I will give him that.
That's fine. That's great, and I think it's good for Rick to have pointed it out. But again, I don't think George Lucas's prequels are any good at all.
Right. And if
I will watch them. I will watch them.
Well, I didn't press it, but that was the one thing I asked, because like the directors were different in episodes 5 and 6.
Yeah.
And you know, his entire vision wasn't there all the time.
No.
Like it was in like 1, 2, and 3. Like you can blame everything on him in those.
Right.
Thank you for watching. If you thought this video was classy, please give us a thumbs up.